In this video, we're going to talk about 3.3, Objective 2, where we interpret geographical data. So let's look at question 1. How can you tell where data values are changing the most on a contour map? So the contour lines will be closer together. So D in a region with closely packed contours. Those contours represent lines where all the um, all the values are the same, so the elevations are the same, or the temperatures are the same, or the pressures are the same, or something like that. So if the lines get close together, there's a rapid change in whatever the map is measuring, whether it's pressure, temperature, elevation is a big one where we see contour maps like that. Determine whether the statement makes sense or is clearly true or does not make sense or is clearly false, and explain clearly. Because body temperatures are from 500 randomly selected residents in California, a graph of geographical data should be used. No, that doesn't make sense. While the data are from a single geographic region, this does not make them geographical data. So that's A. We'll see some maps here of geographical data. We'll see when we should be using that. So the accompanying figure shows the life expectancy at birth in countries around the world. Use the figures to complete parts A through D. And here's the life expectancy data here. And you can see the smaller numbers are in the red orange area. And then it goes up into the blues and greens up here, all the way up to purples are the highest values. So does the figure allow you to determine whether life expectancy is greater in the United States or in Brazil? Why or why not? They are the same color, so they're in the same range of values, but it doesn't tell me specifically uh, that one is higher or lower. So no, the figure does not contain data for both the United States and Brazil, just color codes it, doesn't give numerical values. So all I can say is that they're both between 75 and 80 years. The United Nations estimates that the global average life expectancy in 2019 was 72.6 years. So that's somewhere in here in the green, right? Are the life expectancies in India, China, and New Zealand above or below average? So let's look at India. So India's in this color right here, and India is below average. So below. And then China is above average. And then New Zealand is over here, and that's also above average. In 1800, global average life expectancy was less than 40 years. How do the highest life expectancy values by country today compare to the averages in 1800? Answer both in absolute and relative terms. So the highest life expectancy term expectancies today are more than, let's find the difference here between 40 and that. So 85, right? So 80 is the lower bound here. Minus 40 is 40, but they are saying take this upper bound here of 85 and say that this is 45 years, or, and then let's find out what 85 minus 40 divided by 40 is. 45 over 40. 40 goes into 45.000. This is 1. And then 50 is 1. That's 10. And that is 2 is 80. And then 20. And that's 5 is 200. And so this is 112.5%. And they want us to round to the nearest percent. So that's 113%. So, and then write a sentence describing the disparities in life expectancies around the world. Choose the correct answer. So, in general, life expectancies are highest in Europe and in the Americas and lowest in Africa. Countries in Africa close to Europe have higher life expectancies than those further south. And I would just say, in general, though we don't have economic data to say this, that the countries that are wealthier, in general, have higher life expectancies than the countries that are poor, and that there's a correlation that we can probably see there. So, but right now, the only thing we can say from this map is that we see here's a group of countries right here that has high life expectancies right there in the blues and purples. And then we see a large group of blues and purples here, but especially in North America, but both North and South America, the Americas, and in Europe here. And then we see these African, Middle Eastern nations that are closer to Europe as opposed to Central Europe and Russia and what we would call the Soviet bloc countries before. That these here, for the most part, were a little bit lower in life expectancy than we definitely see in Saharan and sub-Saharan Africa here. Lower life expectancies in the areas of Southeast Asia and Indonesia, higher in China, again, very wealthy region, very high in Japan, very high in Australia and New Zealand. So, all right. Again, let's just answer these questions here. I filled in the blanks before. The first blank was below, and then above, and then above, and 45, and then 113%. And those were all the blanks that I filled in up here. They just had bubbles for me to choose the correct multiple choice option down there. All right, that is it for this video. We'll come back next time and talk about 3.3 No, 3.4 objective 1. 3.4 objective 1 next time. See you for the next video.